right, guys, I have a lot of questions, and people always ask me what's like the coolest thing that ever happened to you while you were in prison. Why everybody's so interested in prison stories, I don't know, but I guess everybody's interested in prison stories. So here's a really cool story from when I was in prison. One of the worst things about being in prison, and this is one of the reasons I tell you guys don't go to prison, is you don't get to see your wife and kids. Now, at the time that I went away, I had a wife and 3 little kids. And my youngest daughter, she was only 2 years old, so she wasn't even talking. But my middle daughter was 5. And she was talking, and she was kind of like my kid. She was like my kid. She was like a growth on my side. So when we told her that Daddy wasn't going to be there for a year, it was really hard, but they were going to come and visit us, and we had all of these excuses. So one of the things we told them is that I was going to school. So, Daddy's not going to be there. He's going to school. I'm going to be away at school, kids. So we told them I was going to Yale, but the truth is I was going to jail. That's the joke we used to tell. However, so one time what happened was I was there about 4 or 5 months, and you have these certain times that you're allowed to use the phone in between what's called count. They have a national count, they have a prison count, and you have to be by your bunk and get counted and all this other stuff, make sure anybody escaped. So one of the times, it was right after a count. It was 9 o'clock count, and we get counted, and I go and use the phone. I call my wife up, and we had this crazy thing that would happen. My daughter, she would go to bed, and as soon as she go to bed, before I went to prison, she would cry out, "Daddy, Daddy." "What, Ashlyn? Can you come and lay down with me?" Now what happened is I go in the room, of course it's my kid, so I lay down with her and I try to make her fall asleep. Make believe I was sleeping, and I try to listen to her breathing, and then when she's sleeping, I'd get up and I start to creep out the room, and then she'd be like, "Where you going, Daddy?" Like, "Nowhere, I was just, I thought you fell asleep." So I'd go in the room, and sometimes it would be 5 minutes, sometimes it'd be an hour, waiting for her to fall asleep. So it got a little hectic, so I'd say to her, "Listen, I'll come in and lay down with you, but only for a couple minutes. You got to go to sleep." "Okay, Daddy, just for a couple of minutes, just a couple of minutes." That's what she used to say. So after the count, I get on the phone with my wife. "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, Ash wants to say hi." And Ash takes the phone. She says, "Daddy, can you come home now? I don't like this school." Like, "Yeah, baby, I can't do that right now. I'll see you next week during when you guys come up and visit." So she says to me, "Well, I just need you away down. I can't fall asleep without you. I need you to come home just for a couple of minutes, please." So it's like, when you're in prison, you have these certain emotions that you kind of push away, like, and when they come out hard. So when my daughter is asking me to come home for a couple minutes, it was like I literally put my back against the wall, and the walls in prison are like these these tile cement walls, and I literally slid down. It was like the old Pink Floyd movie where it just slides down and the phone just kind of turns in my ear, and I'm just like, oh, and my wife picks up the phone and she's like, "Honey, I'm so sorry. I didn't know she was going to do that." It's like, man, this is the collateral damage of prison. That's why you don't go. So like, I was like, "Look, I just, I got to call you tomorrow, all right? I'll call you tomorrow." And she just hung up the phone on her. And I went to my bunk and I put my face in my pillow, raging in the pillow. My bunkie was like, "What's the matter, Ryan?" "Nothing's the matter. Leave me alone." It's kind of weird because you got to hide all of these emotions when you're in prison. You don't want to, the guys that were soft in prison, you made fun of them all the time. And even though you wish you can be like them a little bit because you didn't want to be a jerk all the time, but prison's the kind of place where it's like you're pissed off or you're pissed on. You know what I mean? It's one of the two. It's rarely both. So it was a long night. A night of regret, a night of crying in my pillow, honestly, a night of anger and frustration and rage. Like, why are you so stupid? So I get up the next morning. It's a new day, feeling a little better, get my man on again, just, and I pick up the phone after the 9 o'clock count, and I call my wife, and my wife's like, "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry about that." I'm like, It's okay. She's like, well, Ashlyn wants to talk to you. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. No, you need to talk to her right now. So she goes on the phone. She gets on the phone and she says, hi, Daddy, good morning. Good morning, baby. How are you? I'm sorry. So, Daddy, I had the greatest dream last night. I went to bed and I say, God, can you please bring my daddy home? He needs to come home now. I need him. And then I went to sleep. And then when I had a dream that you were right next to me. And I had the dream that you were there all night. And it was like, I thought, Dad, God, bring my daddy home. It was so, and I'm just like, at the time, it was like the most amazing thing that ever happened. And it still is. I mean, this story happened 25 years ago, and I'm still just blown away that here's this little 5-year-old girl telling me that God gave her a dream that her daddy was home laying down next to her in bed. And here she just started praising God and thanking God, like, God, thank you so much for bringing my daddy home. And now I'm starting to cry. Oh, Lord Jesus, thank you so much. I'm freaking out. And, I could always tell that story. And anybody that's ever been on the inside, they understand what that's about. And anybody that's never been on the inside, at least you could understand that there's some really cool things that happen. Even in the midst of the worst times of your life, God has this way of showing up and doing something great. So now, whenever I talk to my daughter Ashlyn, who's now almost 30 years old, we always talk about a couple minutes. Dad, you want to come home for a couple? You want to come over, Dad? A couple of minutes? And we laugh about it now. But that's probably my favorite prison story. I'll tell you all the funny ones and all the vulgar, nasty ones, but that is my favorite prison story from the time that I was in. Thanks for watching. Really, forget about the whole man thing. Thanks, Petey. He completely blew the mood too. I was about to tear up and everything. Okay.